Hey, Jared with Trout and Fly Fishing, and today we're going to be tying a classic nymph. We're going to tie the Zug Bug. I think it's a pattern that originated sometime in the 1930s, been around for a while. Great pattern, originally tied as a Cased-Caddis. It can represent a lot of different aquatic insects and can be fished in a whole bunch of ways. Let's get started. Okay, so in the vise I have a Daiichi 1710 in a size 10. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a lead underbody, and it's going to be a shorter body. It's just going to help with my taper and to help get the fly down. So just check how many wraps I have on there. And that's about right. I wanted to extend just in front of the hook point to just behind the eye of the hook. Just start my thread. Lock that lead down. Bring my thread back. So for the tail, I'm using peacock sword, and I'm just going to grab about 4 or 5 little fibers. Just going to give it a cool look. They are kind of messy when you tie them in, but don't worry too much about it. So for length, roughly the gap of the hook, and then tie those down all the way back. Yeah, maybe they're a little long. It's all right. You don't have to be too exact. Just take those butts out. So for my rib, I'm just going to use silver wire in a small. I'm going to tie that in right behind my lead and then bring it back. Okay. Next, I'm going to grab 4 strands of peacock curl, even up the tips, and then tie them in by the tips. It helps if you break off the very tips of these, just because the tips can be extremely fragile. So I'm going to bring my thread up, leave it right in front of the lead, grab my peacock curl, and I like to twist it because I tend to break it if I don't. It just turns the 4 strands into kind of one rope and creates a more durable fly. Just continue that up, creating the tapered body. And tie those off right behind the hook eye. A couple wraps in front. Just break those off. Next, I'm going to bring my wire up through the body. And you can use whatever you want for a rib. I think the original pattern used oval tinsel. I like wire. It seems to make the body more durable, and for me, it seems to be an easier material to handle. So I'm just going to bring my bobbin up, support the hook, and then helicopter the wire off. The next thing I'm going to do is tie my legs, and for the legs, I'm using a dark mottled partridge feather. So to prepare this, I'm just going to strip off the butts, or the fuzzies at the butt. Grab it. I'm going to grab it with my hackle pliers by the tip. Stroke the fibers back, and then after I do that, just grab a measurement. You don't have to be too precise with this. I like it right where it's at to extend right about to the hook point. So I'm going to grab the tips here, cut them off to create a little delta, and that's going to be my tie-in point. I tie that in right behind the eye, and then I'm going to wrap it. So just sweep these fibers back, and then wrap. Kind of control them as you wrap around the hook shank. All right. Oops. More wrap. Then tie that off. Just gonna wrap back and make sure that all my legs are facing rearwards. Okay. Cut that stem. Now I'm going to tie in a wood duck flank feather, and this is going to be kind of my caddis head peeking out. It just kind of creates like a little whitish mottled hut spot on top. So I'm going to tie the full length feather in, and I'm going to be careful to tie it in right on top of the hook shank. So one, position it where I want it, and then tighten it down. Okay, take that stem off. Then I'm going to whip finish over this. And then I'm going to trim my wing to length here. So I like it about, on a longer shank hook like this, about the halfway point between the hook point and the eye. So I'm just going to rotate my hook and then cut straight across. That looks about right. Just a little bit of head cement, and that should be it. A lot of head cement. So that's it. The Zug Bug, a very versatile pattern, originally tied as a Cased-Caddis. You can fish it as a nymph. You can strip it like a little mini streamer, dead drift it. However you'd like to fish it, you can fish it. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you can watch all of our future videos. And don't forget, you can get all the fly tying materials at tridentflyfishing.com.